Well, hello there again. Welcome back to the channel. Sasquatch Prospector here, and got a surprise today. Look at the sun. It's come out finally. Decided to make an appearance for it's been gone for the last 2 months. Rainforest. So, and the roads just opened up, which is perfect. And you can see we're just coming down into Howe Sound. This is Howe Sound, everybody. So we've got a kind of interesting one today. Slightly scary for any of you guys that live in Squamish or the surrounding area or any of Vancouverites. We're going to talk about the potential devastation and annihilation of Squamish. So Squamish, for any of you that don't know, is logging. Used to have trains and everything. It's a beautiful, kind of quaint little town in Howe Sound. But Squamish is in a volatile area, and it actually has two risks of devastation. So there's a dam made of lava that could potentially break and cause massive damage to Squamish, and then there's a volcano that could erupt and also cause massive damage to Squamish. We are now heading into the Garabaldi volcanic belt. So the Garabaldi volcanic belt is part of the Cascade volcanic arc, and the Cascade volcanic arc runs from Southern California all the way up to Alaska. The Garibaldi volcanic belt is a subdivision of the Cascade volcanic arc, which is also part of the Ring of Fire, which is the giant circle that goes around the Earth, volcanoes. The Garibaldi volcanic belt is part of the Cascade volcanic arc, and we are going to go to the beginning. It's divided into three segments, the Garibaldi volcanic belt. It's the southern segment, which we are currently going to see. We're going to start there at the Watts Volcanic Center, subglacial mound. Then we're going to head into the middle of the volcanic belt, which is the Mount Cayley volcanic field and the Garibaldi volcanic field. Once we've done that, we're going to head up right to the northern end of the Garibaldi volcanic belt in Pemberton and check out Mount Meager. And we won't be able to go over to that area because it's quite isolated, but we're going to be in the vicinity of the Bridge River Cones, which is another volcanic field within the Garibaldi volcanic belt. There's also the Pemberton volcanic belt, which is an extension of Garibaldi volcanic belt, but it's older. The Pemberton volcanic belt runs further inland into the coast, the central coast, but we can't really go there because there's no roads. And even in the geology science community, it's not very well accessible, so they haven't studied it much. So there's not too much information regarding the Pemberton volcanic belt, but it is there and it is known to exist. So once we hit Watts Point, that will be the very beginning, the start of the Garibaldi volcanic belt, and the first of a few volcanic fields that we're going to check out, which is basically just a localized area of volcanism. And the first is the Squamish volcanic belt. There's the Monmouth volcanic complex, which is basically a complex volcano, is a combination of two volcanoes, or like, a compound volcano. So, anybody knows what something is compound material, right? It's a mixture of two different types. And so when somebody says, oh, it's a volcanic complex, instead of it being a singular volcano, it's a bunch of volcanoes, like a volcano with vents, cinder cone vents on the side or something. And then the volcanic fields are just localized areas of volcanism that take place within volcanic belts. And then you have volcanic provinces, which is obviously like this entire area. Southern BC is volcanic province. We've got northern BC volcanic province. You've got central BC volcanic province. So there's a lot of volcanoes and a lot of ways that they're classified in the region, right, to keep track of everything. And then obviously Squamish, being right in the center of several volcanic fields, is at risk of being completely destroyed. There will be nothing left of it. The entire Squamish as we know it will be completely gone and annihilated, and then the repercussions for Vancouver and all the way out to Alberta actually as well, the effects can be felt. So that'll be quite interesting. So anyways, we're on the Sea to Sky, formerly known as the Lillooet Cattle Trail, and we are about to enter the Garibaldi volcanic belt, which is in the Ring of Fire, which is on the southern coast of BC and British Columbia. Just coming through Britannia, about to enter the volcanic center here, the southern tip of the Garibaldi volcanic belt. You can see Britannia Mining Museum, worth a visit. Make sure you check out that video I did on the Britannia Mining Museum. Good little time there. I know. I don't understand it. Yeah. Alrighty guys, so you see that snow-capped peak sticking up above all the other mountains there? That's Mount Garibaldi. And that could be the source of Squamish's inevitable destruction. So we're gonna get to the Tantalus lookout where I can get a good view of it, a better view. I'm gonna fly the drone and then we're gonna get a really good view of it. And I'm gonna tell you all about how that mountain peak, if it were to erupt, is gonna annihilate all of this. All of what you see here in Squamish could very, very easily be gone. And within a swift few seconds. Wow. Alrighty, so up over this mountaintop here is Mount Garibaldi. Mount Garibaldi is the stratovolcano that I was talking about that is going to eliminate Squamish when it melts because of the lahar. And the lahar is all that snow you see up there in those ice fields is going to melt, except it's going to melt to the Garibaldi stratovolcano, and it's going to send all that water rushing down to Squamish, throwing trees and rocks and hundreds of kilometers an hour water flow, an inland tidal wave or tsunami, and just wipe clean everything, pollute the rivers and all that. So there's another thing in the Garibaldi volcanic field around Mount Garibaldi, which is the ice marginal lava flows. Now, ice marginal lava flows are when a bunch of lava comes into contact with a piece of ice or sheet of ice and it forms like a wall or a dam. Back during the Wisconsin glaciation from 11,000 years ago to a couple 100,000 years ago, all of this whole valley you see here, everything in this entire valley, just at the top of these mountains, was full of ice. 2 kilometers thick, the ice sheet. And it was not the Laurentian ice sheet or the Laurentide ice sheet, it was the Cordilleran ice sheet, originated in the coast mountains. So you see that's end to the end, that's what it looks like at the beginning and the end of the North Cordilleran ice sheet. And the Cordilleran ice sheet went all the way from the coast in Vancouver, all the way up to Alaska. And then it joined at the Continental Divide near Kootenay-Banff there with the Laurentian ice sheet. And then the two of them became like homogeneous, but they are separate ice sheets. And the Laurentian ice sheet originated in Newfoundland, Labrador, and up near northern Baffin Island. But this Garibaldi Lake volcano, so you have an ice marginal lava flow from when there was 2 kilometers thick ice here. So that volcano erupted and the lava came up to the ice sheet and then stopped there and started quenching and cooling, and it created a dam. And this dam then made what is now Garibaldi Lake. Now, Garibaldi Lake has no man-made spillway. So in the 80s, 81 I believe, the town of Garibaldi, which we passed through, which was a resort community, had to be evacuated because they were worried about the lava dam that's holding all of Garibaldi Lake in rupturing or breaking, and then having all that water come crashing down and basically wiping clean Garibaldi and also causing major damage to Squamish. So they had to relocate everybody, relocate the suburbs in Garibaldi because they don't know when the dam's going to break. And they have not done any man-made control, so there's no spillways, which is basically an exit path for excess water. It only has natural drainage and its seepage through the lava, and it drips into a creek down below called Rubble Creek. All of the water that comes out of Rubble Creek is fed from Garibaldi Lake, and it just seeps through the dam or under the dam. That dam's going to give way. And the BC government was well aware of that because in the 80s, they had already started evacuating people out of that area. They call it the barrier. There'll be pictures on the screen of it, and it's basically it's an ice marginal lava flow, which basically it just butted up against the ice sheet and created a dam, and then all the glacial meltwater and rainwater created a lake, which became Garibaldi Lake. And it now precariously sitting above a couple thousand feet above Squamish area, or the old resort town of Garibaldi, which is soon to be annihilated, or will be annihilated once that dam breaks. So that's the barrier in Garibaldi, in between Whistler, Squamish. Looking at the ice fields, you can see all around us, all through, everywhere. It's all ice. So ice field here, ice field here, ice field here, ice field here, and all the way up to Pemberton. And all the water and stuff for these rivers. Squamish River, it's all fed by the ice fields up top. Just at the Tantalus lookout here, about to come into Squamish. We got a bunch more cool stuff coming. We got the Monmouth volcanic complex. We're going to go look at some andesitic dikes, as well as a lava dome.
And we're going to talk about subglacial volcanism. Give a proper talk about subglacial volcanism. So keep posted on the channel. Like, subscribe.